start with a close-up, looking directly into the camera, appearing calm but with a hint of determination. Have you ever felt a betrayal so deep it knocks the wind out of you? One that doesn't just break your heart, but shatters your entire world. That was my reality. The two people I trusted most in this world, my husband and my own sister, were having an affair behind my back. Finding out felt like a scene from a nightmare. The initial shock was paralyzing. Then came the tidal wave of emotions, confusion, gut-wrenching pain, and a white-hot anger that I had never experienced before. I remember sitting on my living room floor, surrounded by the remnants of our life together, just numb. My husband, the man I promised to love forever, was gone, and he had taken my sister with him. For weeks I was a ghost in my own home. I cried until I had no tears left. I replayed every moment, every conversation, searching for signs I might have missed. Was I not enough? What did she have that I didn't? The self-doubt was a poison, seeping into every part of my being. My friends and family rallied around me, but their words of comfort felt distant, like they were speaking a language I no longer understood. The world kept spinning, but I was stuck in that one horrific moment. They didn't just leave me, they tried to erase me, acting as if our years together meant nothing. And the worst part, they expected me to just roll over and accept it. But then, something shifted. One morning, I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize the hollowed-out person staring back at me. The anger that had been simmering beneath the surface finally boiled over, but it wasn't just anger anymore, it was fuel. I realized that crying and questioning myself wasn't going to change anything. They had made their choice, and now, I had to make mine. I decided I wasn't going to be the victim in their story. I was going to be the hero of my own. My revenge wasn't going to be about sinking to their level. No, it was going to be about rising so high that they would have to look up to see me. So, I got to work. Not on a petty scheme, but on myself. The first thing I did was a total home makeover. Every photo of him, every gift, every piece of furniture that reminded me of our life together, gone. I repainted the walls in bright, optimistic colors. I filled the space with things that made me, happy books, art, and plants. I reclaimed my home, transforming it from a museum of a dead marriage into a sanctuary for my new beginning. It was more than just redecorating. It was a physical act of cleansing my life of their presence. Every brushstroke felt like I was painting over the past and creating a new canvas for my future. Next, I focused on my health. The stress had taken a huge toll on my body. I started with small steps, like daily walks in the park, just to clear my head. The fresh air and sunshine felt like medicine. Then, I joined a gym. At first, it was just a place to channel my anger, lifting weights until my muscles screamed. But soon, it became my therapy. I found a strength in myself I never knew existed, both physically and mentally. I started eating better, sleeping more, and for the first time in months, I felt my energy returning. I wasn't just getting fit. I was building a new, stronger version of myself, one workout at a time. I also threw myself into my career. I had always been good at my job, but I'd often put his ambitions before my own. Not anymore. I started staying late, taking on challenging projects, and speaking up in meetings. I had ideas, good ones, and I was finally confident enough to share them. My bosses noticed the change. They saw my drive and my passion. Within 6 months I was offered a promotion, a position I had dreamed of but never thought I was qualified for. The sense of accomplishment was incredible. It was a validation that had nothing to do with him, and everything to do with my own merit and hard work. But the biggest part of my transformation was reconnecting with myself. I started doing things I loved but had given up for the sake of my marriage. I joined a pottery class, something I'd always wanted to try. My hands covered in clay, shaping something new and beautiful from a formless lump, felt symbolic. I traveled. I took a solo trip to a country I'd always wanted to visit. It was terrifying and exhilarating. I learned to navigate a new city on my own, to eat alone in restaurants and enjoy my own company, to rely completely on myself. I rediscovered my independence and my sense of adventure. I was no longer just someone's wife. I was a whole person on my own. About a year later, I ran into them. It was at a mutual friend's party that I almost didn't attend. They were standing in a corner, looking ordinary. The magical, forbidden romance I had built up in my head had faded into a mundane reality. My sister looked tired, and he looked the same. There was no dramatic confrontation. I just smiled, a genuine, confident smile. I was glowing with health, success, and a hard-won peace. I could see the shock and, dare I say, regret in his eyes as he looked at me. He saw the woman he had left, but I was no longer her. I was better. He tried to make small talk, asking how I was. I just kept it brief and positive. "I'm doing great," I said, and it was the honest truth. There was no bitterness in my voice, only peace. That was my revenge. Not a fiery confrontation, but my quiet, unshakable success. My happiness was the one thing they couldn't take from me, and seeing me thrive without him was a more powerful statement than any angry words could ever be. They thought they had destroyed me, but they had actually liberated me. They forced me to rebuild my life from the ashes, and I built a palace. The ultimate revenge isn't about hurting those who hurt you. It's about becoming so incredibly happy and successful that their actions become an insignificant footnote in your amazing life story. It's about healing, growing, and proving to yourself that your worth is not determined by who leaves but by who you choose to become in their absence. For anyone going through a similar heartbreak, know this: your pain is valid, but it is not your final destination. Use it as fuel, rebuild, rediscover, and rise. Your best chapter is yet to be written. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content on turning life's biggest challenges into your greatest strengths. See you in the next one.